It's British, it's luxury, and it's 120 years old. The Norton Motorcycles name is steeped in romance and nostalgia, and when Stuart Garner pledged to revive it 10 years ago, politicians lined up to support him.
British economy motoring ahead.
A succession of government ministers showered the company with praise and millions of pounds of taxpayers' money. Theresa May took Stuart Garner on a trade mission to China. The government made him an export champion, and he became one of the faces of a government advertising campaign.
If we can, you can.
But now Norton is bust, leaving behind it a trail of broken promises and unpaid debts. Paul Finch is one of 228 people who claim they were conned into investing their pension savings in Norton. He's owed £100,000 by the company. Norton's failure means that money is at risk. Paul has multiple sclerosis and can't work. His pension is his only hope of a future income.
The stress and the worry is not helping my illness at all. I'm not sleeping. I'm just panicked, absolutely panicked. Just don't know what to do. That money was my life. I worked hard for that money.
The collapse of Norton Motorcycles raises serious questions about Stuart Garner's conduct and the way he raised money to get the Norton business off the ground. Garner bought the Norton brand in 2008 using £1 million that turned out to be the proceeds of a tax fraud. 4 years later, Garner raised almost £10 million after pension savers were unlawfully persuaded to transfer their pension pots into 3 Norton schemes. Peter Bradley and Andrew Meeson were associates of Garner, and they played a prominent role in both frauds. They were each convicted for the first scam and sentenced to 8.5 years in prison. Stuart Garner insists he had no idea that Bradley and Meeson were con men and that he is a victim of fraud, just like the other Norton pension savers. But we have seen evidence that he was aware that Bradley and Meeson were being investigated a year before they were involved in setting up the Norton schemes. And even after Bradley and Meeson were convicted, Stuart Garner continued to allow pension savers to invest.
We expect sales to double each year over the next 3 to 4 years.
Until the very end, Stuart Garner insisted that Norton Motorcycles was doing well. Now pension savers, the company's customers and the government are all left wondering where their money went. Stuart Garner presented himself as a successful entrepreneur with a lifestyle to match. He lived in an 18th century mansion. This is Garner and his wife on their way to the Le Mans 24-hour race in 2017 in an Aston Martin. It's one of 6 that Norton owns, along with 3 Range Rovers and a Jaguar F-Series. Garner also borrowed £160,000 from Norton, which appears not to have been repaid. Where's the money gone, Stuart Garner? Have you benefited from the millions of pounds that you've raised? Stuart Garner declined our request for an interview, but he has always strenuously denied any wrongdoing. Why does Norton have a fleet of luxury cars? When Norton Motorcycles went into administration 2 weeks ago, Garner said he was devastated and that he had personally lost everything. Not only has Norton received more than £5 million of taxpayer support, but the company collapsed, owing the government almost £1 million in unpaid tax and social security. Tonight, there are calls for an investigation.
I think there are really serious questions here. Obviously, it's impossible for anybody to have known everything that was going on with this failing company, and particularly the pension issues. But it does beg questions about why more taxpayers' money was being put into a company that clearly had performance problems.
Meanwhile, the search for a buyer for Norton continues. The administrator, BDO, says it's focused on keeping the business going and protecting jobs.